Hey there, nutrition challenge completers. This is Coach Greg Skelly here, and this video is going to be an overview video for what the next steps are as you complete the nutrition challenge. So I'll talk first in specifics for how to go into the next phases post Whole30, and then talk in generalities for anybody on any challenge. Best practices for staying the course, even if you don't necessarily have a coach or accountability system going into the future after a challenge. So specifically talking with the Whole30, one of the key things that characterizes the Whole30 Nutrition Challenge is that there's concrete rules that we all commit to following. One is that we don't drink alcohol. One is that we leave artificial sweeteners behind, sugars, we leave grains and dairy behind, etc. There are these concrete rules that we follow, right? And when you're phasing out of the Whole30, the smartest practice is to experiment with one of these food categories at a time, a week at a time. So for example, let's say you finished your Whole30, you weighed in, you remeasured, you did whatever your post-test was, and you smashed it. Fantastic, congratulations to you. You're feeling great, energy levels are through the roof, and you're really interested to kind of get back to maybe having this one particular kind of food that you was a big part of your life before you did the challenge. Let's say, for example, for you it's something dairy, like you really enjoyed having milk with your coffee in the morning, just for example. So the smart approach is then, for 1 week after your challenge is done, experiment only with dairy. Reintroduce the milk to your coffee in the morning, and just see how it goes for you. See how you feel. Does it negatively affect your energy? Do you start feeling bloated? Do you start to feel like your performance in the gym is negatively affected? Does it affect your stamina? Does it affect your strength? Does it affect just how your body performs in everyday life in terms of your energy consistency? Anything along those lines. Maybe even after that week of experimenting, you could re-weigh in and see if the reintroduction of milk causes negative weight gain, for example. These are just some examples. But the idea is this: you reintroduce just one category of food at a time to see how your body responds to it. Now that you've finished the nutrition challenge, your body is a clean slate. You've been eating super clean for the entire duration of the challenge, and now your body has gotten used to deriving its energy from different sources. You've cleansed your body out, and you've changed your palate. And these are really important changes to know about, because you may find that your body responds extremely negatively to that reintroduction of milk, and you have negative reactions range from immediately feeling sick or unwell, to feeling bloated, to immediately seeing a decrease in energy levels or a return of lethargy, just feeling tired in general. Or it might be that you just feel like your stamina in the gym isn't as good, even with a few days of reintroduction of a certain kind of food. In those situations, then you know 2 or 3 days in, all right, my body's not feeling this, it's not really working out well for me. After doing a nutrition challenge, it's very possible that your body's metabolic systems will have adapted, and that you'll no longer tolerate some of those things that used to be a big part of your life. So in this 1 week experiment phase, now you know that, and you can therefore decide whether to keep or to lose that one thing you experimented with. In this case, milk. So After that week is done, you can go and experiment with a different category of food. Let's say you wanted to play with different natural sources of sugar, like honey or stevia, and you start mixing that into your diet, see how your body reacts, see how it responds. If it responds unfavorably, all right, now you know that's not working out well for you, ditch it. But if your body responds well to the milk, or your performance responds well to the milk or the honey or the stevia, whatever, then keep it in your diet. You're learning about yourself in a whole new way as you go into the reintroduction phase post-challenge. Hopefully this all makes sense. So through the reintroduction protocol, you should be able to identify specifically by changing only one variable at a time, and that's important. That's really, really key that you only change one variable at a time, because if you mix in 2 or 3 or 4 different categories of foods that were off plan for the nutrition challenge, if you mix in multiple off plan stuff all at once when the challenge is done, then you don't really necessarily know which of those things help you perform better, which of them make you feel worse, which of them affect you positively, which affect you negatively. You don't know. You need to run an effective and a controlled experiment on yourself, changing just one thing at a time. So with the reintroduction protocol, it's super important. One food category at a time. Experiment with it, see how it goes, adapt accordingly. Now, those are the specifics of a post-nutrition challenge reintroduction protocol. Generalities. Now, here's what I know. All the people that I know who really succeed with their nutrition at a high level, who are consistent, who over time they maintain a healthy lifestyle, they don't waver in and out of one, they all have really concrete rules that they set for themselves and that they live by. So I'll give you an example. When you're in the Whole30, we give you the rules. We give you these program rules, just for example. If you did a Whole30, you have these program rules you follow. There's no alcohol, there's no legumes, there's no dairy, etc. And those rules are guardrails that help keep you from getting into trouble at all. Some of them seem a little extreme, but the beautiful thing is that it holds you into a super clean eating framework that is protective, and it keeps you from trouble zones. As we all know, it's super easy to go out for that one drink and have the one drink become 5. To go out for that one cheat meal and have it become a cheat binge, and have that turn into a cheat weekend, have that turn into a cheat week, right? Rules that they give you protection. They actually give you a lot more freedom in a sense, because you don't have to spend time thinking, should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? So what I'm saying in generalities now is that everybody who succeeds at a very high level with their nutrition has concrete rules they set for themselves. A very common one is as to the frequency of having a cheat meal. A cheat meal being anything that is off your usual plan. For example, 1 cheat meal a week. That's a really common rule to follow. What that means is that you're continuing to eat on plan every single other meal of the week, but you have a game plan. I know on Saturday I'm going out with my friends and I'll let myself eat whatever I want. Or I have a birthday and a holiday coming up, and on those days I'll eat whatever I feel like, whatever is most convenient when I'm out with my friends on those specific days. A rule about the frequency of a cheat meal is a really, really smart goal to have, a smart rule to have, I think, because if you were to have this conversation with yourself and say, I'm just going to try to eat as healthy as I can most of the time, or I'm just going to try to stick to the Whole30 now as best I can, or I'm just going to keep as many of the rules as possible going forward. That's a gray area. That is a sign of indecision, and I guarantee, I promise, I stake my life on this, you will fail, you will completely relapse right back into old behaviors if you do not set rules for yourself that you commit to and that you absolutely decide you're going to follow. Maybe your rule is, after you do a reintroduction protocol, all right, I know that dairy is bad for me. Oh, I know that grains are not doing well for me. I'm leaving those things behind fully. Maybe you reintroduce honey and you find that that works out well. Your rule is, I'm now doing Whole30 plus honey. And that is my rule. That is my concrete game plan, and I follow that to a T. Maybe it's, now I'm going to reintroduce the beans into my diet so that I can make a different style of chili that I really liked before. You try that out, works out well. Now your rule, your nutrition plan is, I'm going to be Whole30 plus beans, and I'm going to have a cheat meal 2 times a month. These are some examples of post-nutrition challenge game plans and rule setting for oneself that leads to long-term sustained success. If you do not set a defined set of guardrails for yourself, guidelines for yourself, you will absolutely find yourself relapsing. I cannot emphasize the importance of this enough. And if you know you're the kind of person that struggles to hold yourself to hard rules, or you need some kind of accountability system, don't just leave the nutrition challenge behind. Find another or reinstate that same accountability system. Maybe there's somebody in your life that you trust to really kick you in the pants if you screw up. Force yourself to send them a text at the end of each day with a report, a brief report on what your nutrition was, or get one of the coaches to be your accountability person and force yourself to give them reports on your food every day or every week so that there is some kind of ongoing system to keep yourself in check. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. Know thyself first. There's no wisdom like self-knowledge, and there is no replacement for having intelligent systems in place that kind of put your feet to the fire and make you stay the course, make you stick to whatever your game plan, whatever your rules are. Going it alone in any capacity is generally a way of a failure. It's generally a way of failing faster. I hope that all of this has been really valuable for you guys. It's enlightened you in important ways on how to succeed long-term after your challenge is done. So as you go into this now, do the reintroduction protocol based on what you learn, set rules for yourself, and then finally create accountability systems that keep you holding to those rules day in, day out, week in, week out, so you keep making progress, keep feeling good, keep performing well in the gym, and keep being your healthiest, best, and leanest self so you can go and be amazing in your health, wealth, and relationships. Have a great day, guys.